B.F.D.I is one of the most consistently good web shows I've seen to date. Where others falter, B.F.D.I continues on with its strong everything. And after the banger that was season 4A, which I already covered so you should go watch that first, I'm curious to see how the B.F.D.I team follows that act up. I don't think I've ever given BFB 17 enough credit for what it needed to accomplish, as BFB 16 had caused what can only be considered a soft reboot of the season, and a month cliffhanger of where the competition will go from here. But it's soon apparent that not much has changed, as after the remaining contestants goof around a bit with their newer, higher quality animation, foremost about how he misses X and he needs his co-host to make BFDI quirky once more, which on one side note really isn't necessary, as this episode in a lot of ways reminds me of BFB 1 in how quirky and different it all is. In a lot of ways, it's very similar to how Smiling Friends changed the perception of what TV adult animation writing could be like, whereas with BFDI, it's slowly showing how it too can show a new and much more entertaining way of writing kids animation. But the twist of Loser's X marked the spot theory actually working was really silly, and of course I adored the return of the free smart Superman! But I'll be honest here, it was a little dumb with the first few opening minutes. But hey, that's something me and BFB share. This episode brought me to a creepy realization that these objects aren't just objects with limbs and faces. As a minute into the episode, Flower begins banging at her head until we see a real human brain. Like it's there for 2 seconds on screen. Does that imply that they have a nervous system, making a kidney, or what about their abdomen? What about the robots? Do they have brains? If not, what do they have? Circuits? But look, I'm getting a bit far ahead of myself here. The actual episode itself is fine, the competition was fun, but I specifically really enjoyed how casual BFDI feels again, as the massive weight of around 60 contestants has been pushed down to just a measly 13. But sadly, I do need to note how none of this episode is particularly memorable to me. The only joke that really got a laugh out of me was probably this one.
Last time I impersonated him, I got arrested and put on probation.
But still, not a bad episode, it's just okay. Last episode's competition has crowned Loser's team as the have-nots and Leafy's team as the have-cots. These two havers have been challenged with helping X's beautiful aloe garden grow into a beautiful aloe vera garden. And of course, the only way these two teams can help with that is by using the now mysteriously empty spongy spacecraft.
I didn't do anything.
As the two teams head out to cool down the sun, because it is literally killing X. Like, he is dying, he's burning alive, he's basically toasted at this point. And same goes for the have-nots, who will burn and die due to the power of the sun. Also, Spongy got eliminated.
Yeah!
BFB 20 has got to be one of the most obnoxious episodes of the entire series, and I'm not even kidding. Let me explain why. Starting off with the elimination, it's not actually bad. I would argue it's the best parts of the episode considering the pretty neat idea of doing cake at stake through basically a Google meeting. It definitely is a very creative way of doing the elimination, but everything goes downhill once the challenge is announced. The challenge is basically to keep X at a comfortable weather for him, and I kid you not, this episode right here is the only reason why X is in my dislikes section of my tier list. It's actually agonizing to hear X's high-pitched scream for the entirety of the episode, to the point where it's a relief to hear Loser out of anyone talk for a moment, because despite him being such a mess of a character, at least he isn't screaming his lungs out into my ears every time he's on screen. And don't even get me started on how the challenge itself works. Trust me, don't get me started on it. I genuinely can't tell with how badly it's structured. The episode does try to make us think there are rules, by introducing points at some point during the challenge, but that quickly derails into everyone doing some wacky idea to make X warmer or colder, which translates into a chaotic mess, and not the good kind either. The entire challenge doesn't even matter anyway, because Leafy just throws water at X, and that makes her team safe from elimination. So basically all those attempts to get X warmer or colder had no purpose at all, it was all filler. In fact, let me show you how the actual challenge of the episode is like, without any filter whatsoever.
X, what do you propose we do?
Just help me get colder, please! Yay! I feel great! You win!
What? That's all it took?
As you can see, it's really short, which goes to prove my point on how the whole idea behind this challenge is just idiotic. We've had silly challenges before in the series, but at the very least they were enjoyable to watch. This episode on the other hand is nothing but enjoyable. The challenge prompt doesn't work, X and 4 are extremely obnoxious, and none of it matters anyway because of the ending. This episode is just so bad. I know post-split was never meant to be that good, but this is just insulting to me. Easily the worst episode of post-split.
I've noticed a consistent theme in the post-split episodes and some pre-split, where they start off with a really weird, unrelated scene to get to the actual episode, and I always thought that was a kind of weird way of going about it, rather than using that time in the episode to develop the story. Instead, we get some weird bit about cannibalism. But I ain't complaining, because they're usually really, really funny. But to everyone's shock and awe, loser gets eliminated, which leads us to BFB's final 10 contestants. A massive landmark for the show, as we can now consider this the endgame of BFB. And what a way to start it off than a contest centered around raiding Yellowface's warehouse. As you all know, Yellowface has had many different advertisements throughout the show, and now they're finally coming to fruition as our contestants get back with gifts for the other contestants. And also, Lollipops has some of the realest business rivalry shit I ever did here.
Does this spoon say, made in Yellowface's warehouse? Ugh, that company makes horrendous products. Do you hear that, potential customer base? Lollipop Incorporated's products are far more valuable in comparison.
And Flower also spits some shit as well.
Woody, don't worry. I understand the struggle you're going through.
Bubble, this discussion doesn't involve you.
And after all that, the have-nots end up in the elimination chopping board. We start off with everyone absolutely shitting on Leafy, when all of a sudden the closest elimination of the entire game takes place as the last two in the elimination, Flower and Taco, end up being 1 vote apart.
What? 100?
One vote.
But hold your suspenses before we can get to see who leaves the show. Today, 4 reveals to us where all these eliminated contestants have been levitated to, and that is the big rotating where all the eliminated contestants suffer brain hemorrhages due to the spinning. And the next person to step into a cage and get internal bleeding is Taco! Yippee! Taco Tuesday! So, as one of the best new to season 4 contestants steps into the cage, we continue on with a contest of lore for the case of the missing diary. And we roll in with a bunch of interrogations. One by one, the members of the have-nots will be trialed by the members of the have-cots until someone is found guilty. But it proves difficult as most of them have a perfect alibi of jet flying class, until all of a sudden, Leafy and Fiery are pulled from the court to finally resolve this plotline that's been ignored for years. And as they both talk about their views and their struggles, they finally sort their shit out, which leaves the have-cots up for elimination. Flower commits production espionage and practically forces everyone to wear her new glitter-infused fashion line until my beautiful boy X hosts the elimination. I love you so much. And my dear Yoil enthusiast Bubble gets eliminated. But I absolutely adore how close Blocky and Woody get in this episode, as over the past few they've been slowly getting closer and closer. But with this episode, 4 goes to jail for what can only be a cosmic crime, and it's our contestants' job to fish him out using whatever they can find, with the main challenge trying to get to him in the first place. But this episode isn't all good, as a character that I truly grow to hate makes his first appearance. And this isn't trying to discredit the voice actor Justin Chapman. He does a fantastic job at Purpleface, but I just hate how he's written later on. But for now, he's fine in this episode, and after some smarty pants thinking from Teardrop, the have-nots are up for elimination. After the funny doer kicks the funny bucket, X announces how the have-cots and have-nots are now no more, and instead everyone is fighting for themselves. And by fighting, I mean throwing 4 an appreciation party, as everyone's been really shitty to 4 lately, but most of them being unrelated to 4, like a Ferris wheel, an X party, an apology to Gelatin, a purple face party, and of course a Halloween party. And it ends up that 4 loves Halloween, so Fiery, Woody, Leafy, and Teardrop end up for elimination, as the scary AI Michael haunts them. Why was there a crowd of people screaming? What did you do? And oh my Gordita, Fiery was eliminated? Are you kidding? It's okay, at least he got to finish his arc. But except for that, 25 has been the most forgettable so far, which is weird because it's got an interesting location and some really solid scenes, but I just can't find myself liking it as much as the others so far, which sadly is something I remember consistently throughout the later episodes of Post-Split. But overall, this episode was fine, but not really much of interest. This episode gives me the ick in more ways than one, as we see that after all this time, back in season 1, there's been someone out of sight and out of sound, and that is Profily. And while I don't despise him as much as I did when the episode first came out, I think he's one of the dumbest decisions made for the show, and honestly, it's the same thing with Purpleface, where they do a fantastic job in their own respective episodes, but when they come back later on, it feels so tacked on, and like their personalities have just been stretched thin or forgotten about entirely. But as of right now, I think the idea of getting a contestant eliminated as the contest is really fun. But the episode felt much more shorter than 18 minutes, which can be blamed on how little gets done in this episode. Although I am happy that they acknowledge how many non-contestant characters keep showing up. And because of those non-contestant characters, the gang have decided to move to the middle of the desert, and naturally, the first contest that takes place in the desert is a source of heat, the world's largest oven. Although, come to think of it, how is it not rusted over the years? F it, I don't gotta psychoanalyze this oven, it's just an oven just because! And like the past few episodes, this set piece is a part of our new contest, as our beloved final 5 are tasked with escaping the oven. And after a whole slew of mega moves and strange side rooms, we finally reach our end with Teardrop being safe and the rest up for elimination. B.F.D.I 28 is where everything changes, and the show differs itself from the possibility of a boring season final, as our original host is back in the box, and he wants his show back after 4 and X have been hosting for the entire season. And finally, 4 has enough of this, as he vows to be a part of the show forever by sinking into the ground and assimilating with the desert, leaving X behind. But there's no time to ponder on that, because our budget is spent and our penultimate challenge has been put in place, which leads all our contestants to do the shortened versions of Give a Basket to X, Lick Drawbreakers, Swing, Depict 4, Fly Paper Airplanes, The Twinkle, Get a Goal, Quiz, Basketball, Bring Back 4, Get Up the Stairs, Find the Imposters, Get X's Treasure Back, Get Back to 4, Don't Split Off, Get Back X, Destroy the Towers, Cool Down X, Give Someone a Gift, Solve a Case, Free 4 from Jail, Throw a Party, Collect a Totem, Eliminate Profily, and Escape the oven. And after the gauntlet of contests, Gelatin and Teardrop are up for elimination, leaving one of them to be in the top 2 with Flower. B.F.D.I is cancelled. Announcer came in last episode, and without any of us noticing, he blew the entire budget on useless medals and TVs. So our 2 finalists, because Teardrop got eliminated, and our eliminated contestants try to make some money by running a public access television network, while Taco investigates what the announcer is really up to. While, oh my god! Look at this! Holy shit, this is adorable! Oh, I love this,
you don't
thank
need to pretend to be someone else for me to like you.
But the announcer's ulterior motives were finally shown, as the announcer digs up the BFB and B.F.D.I for himself, while Flower is still getting practically tortured, but the announcer gives his reasons for doing all this, as he waited until the end of BFB just to cancel the show permanently, as he was upset and hurt how his creation and his show was being made by someone else. So if he uses the show's entire budget, B.F.D.I will cease to exist and no one else can take his work. And honestly, the MS Paint section of this episode was super funny, until the budget keeps dropping and dropping, which makes their art style lower and lower in quality until they end up being nothing more than storyboards. But Flower saves the show at the last minute and the announcer just kinda gives up. So the competition will continue on for one last episode. After a not-so-close tie, Flower wins the grand cake, a B.F.D.I and a BFB. And now, you may be thinking, Tested, why did you tell us all that at the very beginning? And in all honesty,
for shits and giggles.
But also, it takes up only a 1/4 of the episode length, as the rest of it is spent trying to get the B.F.D.I back from Purpleface after Flower gifted it to the runner-up Gelatin. And look, as much as I hate Purpleface, Spongy is such a little shit to him, and he deserved better.
Too bad you'll never know where I hid the B.F.D.I.
Purpleface hid it under a chair at the back of the bus.
You dick!
Spongy, I hope you get poked in your kidney and you get internal bleeding, because regarding Flower's brain, you guys probably have organs too. And while this is all happening, 4 is in his own fake world of grateful and happy contestants, which is really sad, honestly, as all these figments of his imagination constantly compliment him, and Lord knows how many seasons they've done so far. And after he got sick of hearing Profily, can't blame him, he leaves the desert and our gang follow him in the free smart super van. And Purpleface finally admits why he stole the B.F.D.I.
Because none of you respect me!
Well, that's fucking stupid. Now everyone's trying to steal the B.F.D.I. Until Woody becomes a real one once again.
Now more fighting, or else no one keeps it.
I deserve it.
God damn it, Spongy! But this episode has finally given us exposition on how 4 ended up with the B.F.D.I. and how he ran the show. As he was a super fan during the original season's run, he was sad to see that it had ended up cancelled, so he created a B.F.D.I. and set off to start the new season. But the gang's chase goes so bad, they eventually wind up on the sun until Gelatin drops this truth bomb on dear old Phil.
I moved on, so why won't you?
Because we're mad, okay? We're mad at you for you come in and make us compete for these prizes and you hurt us and you're mean to us. And then we all choose to still compete for your prize and you continue to hurt us and I don't know, pulling our fingers so we feel pain for your own benefit? Or like killing us or doing that weird thing where you spin us into weird shapes and you put all of us in cages for months? We like you for, that's why we stayed, but you can't expect us to remain fully committed when you don't even treat us nicely.
And with the slew of clips from the season and some happy music, it's really allowed me to reflect on what a fantastic forte in online animation B.F.D.I. truly is. Starting from a shitty computer to having an entire team for writing, animating, voicing, and whatnot. And 4 finally got his party and oh my god, I'm so happy. Maybe this has made me like Profiley a tiny bit, but holy shit, Fire and Leafy are going on an adventure. Oh my god, this is so cute. This shit's making me...
Love of God! For the love of God!
This is just adorable. Well, there we go. Okay, I've officially finished B.F.D.I. for the most part, as of right now. I'm currently freestyling this end card, so ignore the stutters and everything. I will do Teapot eventually. As for B.F.D.I.A., if they go on for the entire season, if they continue for the entire season, I will recover B.F.D.I.A. along with the other videos that I did before. But that will probably be in the distant future. Same thing with Teapot, so those will be covered eventually. But as of right now, I hope you guys go and check my other videos out as well, because they're pretty epic, okay? I know most of y'all here are B.F.D.I. fans, but I do highly recommend you check those out. And my Twitch as well, there's a lot of funny shit happening over there. But look, I really appreciate everyone coming to watch this video today. I recently got in the YouTube partner program, so now I get AdSense and everything, so you see an ad pop up at the end of this video, watch the entire thing so you can give me money. I like money. Anyway, have a good day. Bye!